Recorded Books presents Lákíríboto Chronicles, a brief history of badly behaved women by Ayodele Olofintuade, narrated by Najite Dede. For all the women that came before me, women who raised me, Apinke, Abeke, Apeke, Asheke, Adenike, Olaide, Iyabode, Morieba, Adebimpe, Adetayo, Olubanke, Tokumbo. To innumerable others who have had my back, Chris, Bibi, Aduni, Lola, Kafayat, Michelle, Rafiat, Kehinde, Tolulope, Adenike, Titi Lope, Dupe, Abiola, Charmaine, Azafi. For all the women who tread in the footsteps of the ancestors. Season 1. A Glass Half Empty, 2005. A Death. Moremi discovered Alaja in a sleep that was as deep as it was infinite around 6:30 a.m. that Saturday morning. The bedsheet and blanket were tangled together to one side of the bed. It was as if she had engaged death in a battle and lost, because nothing Moremi did would wake her up, despite calling her name repeatedly and shaking her, first gently and then vigorously. Her heart raced faster than her legs as she dashed out of the house into the courtyard, hoping somebody, anybody, would join in her bid to wake Alaja up from her death sleep. In her 11-year-old mind, her grandmother could still be rescued, snatched out of the bloodied hands of death before her spirit crossed to the other side. A vague place that could be in the heavens above, underneath the earth, or just a spitting distance. She paused in front of the low fence that separated her home from the other houses in the neighborhood and stood on tiptoes. After about 2 minutes, without even the whisper of feet, Moremi ran to the gate and pulled it open. But then she remembered her grandmother's warning about Bomo, men and women that prowled their street, turning wandering children into yams before kidnapping them. She shut the gate and stood indecisively for a moment, then remembered the bungalows located at the backyard. She followed a tiny path that wound drunkenly between the mango and bush cherry trees and drew to a stop when she got to the 3 small bungalows fighting for space amongst the trees. Moremi checked each bungalow for signs of life. The doors were locked, the wooden shutters firmly closed. It was as if Alaja had dragged every living soul with her to the other side. Alaja can't be dead. They had still been together the previous night, watching the TV, and her grandmother hadn't looked or acted like someone who was planning to die. In fact, she and her brother, Oluriebi, had a good time, taking shots from the bottle of schnapps he had brought her. She pulled the stories of night markets where the living and the dead mingled that her grandmother had told her over the years around her, a comforting blanket, because nobody ever dies. Not truly. Alaja is not dead, she chanted. Alaja is not dead, over and again. She was so engrossed in her thoughts that when she stepped out of the last bungalow, she tripped over the root of one of the trees and fell flat on her face. Moremi tried not to cry as she pulled herself off the ground. She knew once she started, she wouldn't be able to stop. She took several deep breaths, held on to a tree trunk, and pulled herself up. She checked for bruises. There was a large one on her left shin. Alaja will take care of it once she wakes up, she reassured herself, and called out again. Mama Sheung! Mama Adija! Neither of the women who lived next door answered. She became even more aware of the silence around her. A dead silence. Alaja is not dead. She stood under the mango tree irresolutely. Then she remembered that the day was originally meant for Oluriebi's child naming ceremony and lost all hope of getting help quickly. She knew everybody in the neighborhood would be at Oluriebi's house, which was some distance away from theirs. Moremi would have gone there if she knew the direction,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?